Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday, June 16th, 2021 WORT Board of Directors meeting. I call this meeting to order. There's a lot has changed up to the very last minute before the meeting started. So if you haven't looked at the agenda in the last few hours, you might want to scan it again. I keep putting hyperlinks into the agenda so that people can just click on the reports and underlying items in the agenda to make it easier to put everything together. One of those things that's hyperlinked is this agenda. And if there is no objection, we will consider this agenda adopted. Are there any questions or concerns? Any additions to the agenda? Let's consider the agenda adopted. The May draft minutes are also linked in the agenda, and we'll go at it the same way. Are there any questions, additions to that agenda, to those minutes?
Just one minor update regarding the collective bargaining agreement. In preparing the document for signature, somebody noted that there were certain editorial updates that needed to be made, which we consider to be just scrivener's corrections, which we made and then signed. There was nothing substantive, but the actual text, there are a couple of sentences that needed to be rewritten. I just want to inform the board of that.
Thank you. The contract as modified is out on the Google shared drive. And I think everybody has access to that. But if you have a question about it, please let me know and I will help you find it. With that, I will consider the May 2021 draft minutes to be approved. There are no communications from the public. Hello?
I was just wondering if I could just say a brief hello and goodbye.
I would love that.
I guess I can be a member of the public at this point, huh?
You can.
So thank you all for all the wonderful years working together and all the work that you all do to keep the station going. And it was a really privilege and honor to work with all of you. And Adrienne is amazing. She's going to do a great job. And I'm just so happy for the hire and for the handoff. And I just have the utmost respect and admiration for the organization and what we bring to our community. And it's a great collective effort. And so I just want to say thank you for everything. Thank you for working with me. Thanks for the great going away party for staff and board that you organized, Dave, and for everyone who came and all the well wishes. And I wish you all and WRT well, and just wanted to say goodbye. I'll see you at the annual meeting.
Glenn, it's been amazing to be your office mate for 8 years, and I'm really going to miss you in the office. You were incredibly fun to work with and a constant source of calming for each other when one of us was getting tweaked. So yeah, and definitely I'll see you socially. So
yeah. Thanks so much, Doug.
I don't have to miss you that much, but it's been really fun working with you, Glenn. I'm just so happy, and everything that you've taught me about WORT and your guidance as I got going in the position was very helpful. So thank you so much.
Great. Well, likewise, it's been great working with you, and you're going to have another great office mate.
Absolutely. We're already getting along great. I wanted a chance to say that because Friday I had to bail because the mask was really freaking me out with my breathing. So I had to bail on the party kind of quick, and I just wanted a chance to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Say hi to Dan and your dad.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for everything. Bye, Glenn.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
There were no executive committee actions since the last meeting. A reminder that the WORT annual meeting is Sunday, June 27th, and starts at 2:00 p.m. on Zoom. You all should have gotten an invitation on Google Calendar for that. But if you don't have an invitation on June 27th on your calendar, let me know on email and I'll get it to you. This will also be Gil and Eric's last regular board meeting.
Yeah, I have to say something about that because I'm not going to be there.
Okay. I would love to welcome your statement.
No, I haven't prepared a statement. I just realized tonight that I'm not going to be there.
Well, it's been great having you on the board.
I can send in a statement that somebody could read, but I really don't think that's necessary. I'm sorry that the plans that ended up being made for us not being in town happened. I'm going to be up at the Midwest Renewable Energy Association gathering on the 26th, and then I'm not coming back. We're going further north after that for a week. So I will not be able to join, I don't think, even by Zoom on the 27th. So
All right.
It'll be great. I'm sure. I voted already. I thought I fulfilled that responsibility anyway.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
Go.
It was great having you on the board.
Agreed. You've been a great voice for us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kurt's term is ending at the annual meeting, but he is in the election. So he will have an opportunity to speak at the annual meeting and in support of his candidacy. But we look forward to seeing you again if that's possible. If we lose both you and Eric, we'll lose 2/3 of our law advice on the board.
Dave, I was wondering if anyone has reached out to the other 4 candidates to let them know that they're have an opportunity to speak at the annual meeting.
I have not yet. I just put together, I don't have it on this agenda, but I did put together a draft agenda for the annual meeting. But thank you. I will take that as an action item to reach out to those people. I've already talked to.
Okay, if you need contact information for any of them, because I know their
Right.
board apps are actually redacted. So I can send you like phone numbers and emails tomorrow if you like, when I'm back in the office.
That'd be super. Thank you.
Sure, happy to do it.
I want to make sure that they know that we're going to put them on the spot and ask for their speeches or whatever. So,
Doug, I'm curious, why were they redacted, since the whole point is that they were essentially applications to be voted on to know who to vote for? Why were they redacted?
Because they went out to the entire voter list.
just the phone numbers and email addresses.
That's
only phone numbers and email addresses and and their physical address. But
okay, but the names.
That's the
were still
only
there.
thing that was.
Okay.
Names were removed.
Oh,
not the names. No,
okay,
no.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
And then they will be getting WORT addresses, and we'll all be adding them to our.
I don't want to jinx anything, but I think Kurt should be given the opportunity. If he's got anything he wants to say now, I think would be appropriate if he'd like to say anything at this point, about his service on the board. I think that would be in order.
Certainly.
Vote early and often. No, it's taken me a while to learn about this organization, and the more I'm here, the more I like it. And I certainly would like to get reelected, and I have plans on increasing my involvement, doing some kind of volunteer thing. I'm talking to Charlie about what I can do and where to fit in. So come what may, but I enjoy this position.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other comments about that item? Good. Next, we have the status of WRT's IRS Form 990. Doug, I got an email back from Catherine Joy, and I copied you in my response to her. I'll be talking to her on Friday, this coming Friday, to find out more details about what's going on.
Yeah, and I saw that her timeline that she would like would be to get it done by the end of the month, and that will work absolutely perfectly with my schedule.
Good.
And that will give me 2 weeks to get the annual financial report for CPP done before I leave on vacation.
Good.
Which is also great timing because it's unlikely that within that 2-week period they're actually going to review it. So any questions they have, they probably won't raise until August, and I'll be back in order to answer those questions, because the timing, the 1 year hit where they asked questions while I was on vacation and expected answers within 3 days. And it was a mess. But, thanks to Suzanne, we got it done. But I think, as long as Cass gets it done by the end of the month, we'll be fine.
Maybe you should take a satellite phone with you.
Well, there's several days where I go into town and I have cell phone service, and you bet that I am checking my email. Not every day while I'm on vacation, but I do check it periodically just to make sure there aren't any fires to put out. Because you kind of have to.
Yep. Yep. All right. I'm going to go through reports rather quickly because there are no action items on these reports. One of the first ones that I would like to, where did I? The first thing I want to talk about is the treasurer's report. And is Marty, you're still here. Thank you. Would you like to talk about that? There is a link to Marty's treasurer's report, which I added to the agenda. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, go ahead. But Marty will now summarize it.
I'm going to try to share the screen. There it is. Okay, we continue to be in good financial shape. If you look at the top, we have, for people who don't know this, we have 2 banks that we deal with. The SBA PPP loan under the Heartland Credit Union is now listed as an asset, I believe. So that gives us an extra $99,330 $1,000 that we've gotten from that loan. You can see the balances there. There's only one real change in the negative, and that's in the business dividend checking under the Summit Credit Union. That seems to be just normal expenses going out. There is still some finishing to be done on the accounts, and I believe Mary Joy is going to be working with Doug or with Dan on understanding some of the changes she needs to make, and she hopes by early next week to have the final results of her efforts. So we weren't able to get any of the standard reports that we usually give because the accounts from the beginning of the year that weren't finished when she took over are still being worked on. But she's very close to the end. There's just some technical explanations, procedures she has to learn. So you can see down at the bottom what we have in the bank right now. $669.21. I will be going in to early to work with Mary Joy on the two deficiencies that were pointed out in the audit. The first one was just the fact that I wasn't doing my regular following up because of COVID and I tried to get Suzanne to help me with that. It was beyond her capability. And then she retired with only 2 weeks notice. So I hadn't gone into the station to look for any papers. They weren't even there. I went in once in March or something and they weren't there. She had them all at her house, but I believe they're back in the station now. The second deficiency was, and we had never been told to do this before. I hadn't been told in an audit that all the checks need to be compared to the images that we can get online. Evidently, there has been problems in the past, not at work, but in other agencies, in other businesses. This is not uncommon that people write out checks, put it in the books as written to somebody for something, and then write it to somebody else. And so I'm supposed to compare what's actually seen on the image online to what the check is recorded as in the book. So we'll be figuring out a quick system to do that. But that's all really my report. If there are any questions, now is the time to ask them. Okay, I'm not hearing any, so if you want to give people a little more time to ask questions, that's fine, but I'm done with my report. It's just good to see the numbers being so big in the accounts. Oh, one other thing, we'll have to investigate again about how to best put that money from the PPP loan into a good savings, a better return than just a regular savings account. But now that that loan has been forgiven, I take it, David, we're free to do anything we want
Yes.
with the money, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll talk to the bank about that too.
I just want to caution people that this is an unusual bubble that's due to the COVID pandemic, and also because we had a donor make a bequest to WORT back in 2020. And so the combination of that, the PPP loan, and then we got a $179,000 grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which all add to this wonderful surplus that we have. But if you look at Susan's report, the summer pledge drive was way lower than the goal. And Susan speculates about some of the reasons that could be, but we can't lose sight of the fact that our donor, our group of donors is getting older and smaller. And so we have to be diligent in keeping those donors with us and reaching out with new ways of raising funds from listeners and consumers of our online content. So we will continue to work with you and welcome your help in working with us.
One other thing I wanted to mention is that we're facing some big expenses to upgrade equipment. So it's incumbent upon us to not get fat and sassy over this
Right.
good standing right now.
Can you
I'm
unshare your
done.
screen?
Pardon me?
Can you unshare your screen?
I think I did. I thought I did.
We're still seeing your desktop there. So
Okay, let's see. Can you do that? You did it the last time.
I like the desktop. It's really nice.
Well, can you,
I can do that.
because I don't see it on my computer at all.
I did. I figured it out.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The Tom Jones just sent out an email, or actually a message out on Discord, which is a chat program, that he found a workaround to the board in Combo B that was periodically locking up. And as we bring live programmers back into the station, having a board lock up and having to power cycle a board while you're on the air is a nerve-wracking thing. So he's got that so that that's less likely to happen. And then we're making plans, but haven't finished them yet, on converting to a whole new pair of boards, one in Combo A and one in Combo B, and using audio over IP, which is a whole new way of doing things. But we're not ready to bring that to the staff or the board for the budget issues that we're going to have to face. It will, if we really hurry, we can do it before the end of the year in terms of preparing a budget for it. But I don't know if we can complete the task before the end of the year. So Tom is muted and he just fainted. So
yeah, I'm scared to death of the whole thing.
When you work with an old radio station, there are wires that go to places where you don't know where they go. And if you cut something, you might accidentally cut something that's live on air. So
I've also traced a wire that had no end on it, traced to the very end of the wire, and it was also not connected to anything.
mm-hmm.
It was just a wire just hanging there. Kind of funny.
Yes, that's not unique to us. All organizations face that have been around for a long time.
Yep.
You wonder, how the heck did this run? So when we rewired our kitchen, we found out that it was a huge fire hazard the way it was wired, and the house was built in 1929. So who knows? The other reports are things that you should all look at, but we don't have to go over in the meeting unless anybody has any questions about any of them. Okay. We have no business. And the next, no new business. My mouth is just not working anymore. So the next item on our agenda is a going into closed session. So I want to make sure that we've completed all discussion for all the reports and any questions that anybody has about anything. Go ahead, Stu.
Yeah. I know that we may need to discuss the needs assessment in the context of the closed session regarding Aaron, but I think it would be helpful if we could have some of that discussion with Doug participating, because Doug was part of the staff collective and Adrian participating.
Okay.
I think in
this instance, Stu, I would participate in the closed session, but not vote.
Okay. Adrian, did you want to say anything about, you didn't have a lot of, time to know what was happening before you got here, but do you have any comments on the need assessment that we should know about?
This is the document that Sybil submitted,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty thorough. I read through it, and having worked with Aaron for 2 years on the Access Hour, him helping me out and showing me stuff, and also now that I've been here a couple weeks and seeing everything he does and knowing what he's capable of doing as well, I think it's pretty well encompassed in that document.
Okay. Was are you talking about the position description or the needs assessment?
The position description.
Okay, but
Okay.
What about the broader needs assessment of the station as a whole? Did you have any thoughts? Were you part of that process?
I wasn't a part of that process, but I have looked at the document, not as in depth as to make a thoughtful comment here. But what I think we should also be focusing on is getting younger donors and pursuing newer ways to do that. I've been talking with Susan about some ideas, but I think that's something that we should also put some time and thought into pursuing.
Do you think that's mainly going to be a technology-driven outreach or programmatic and outreach?
I don't think it's just, technology helps. Us having a bigger social media presence will be a huge help there, and just posting more regularly. But I think outreach is very important to the younger audience. And I know there are a couple of things that I've been thinking about pursuing in terms of events, us being present at, even just doing general outreach with volunteering specifically targeted at younger people. I'm going to table at Pride Prom on the 26th, and that's all teenagers that I'll be talking to, trying to get them interested in radio and explaining what they can learn and do. So more events such as that. But yeah, definitely technology will be a component of that. Social media mainly.
Thank you.
Yeah, as young people don't have radios anymore, we can't use the radio as a medium to reach them. So the only thing we have left is social media, as is the net in one form or another. So there's a number of things I'd like to pursue in that direction as well. But
the app is great too.
Yeah,
that's a great start. And I think we can use that a lot more to our advantage as well. So I think that we are on the right track.
I was at the Historical Society Archives today all morning, listening to Back to the Country on the app. It was great. It was like wonderful. Now, if we can only get the functionality that you can advance when you're listening to a program on the archives, that would be a double bonus. But the app is the future. The app is great.
Just to interject, Stu, they are still working on that. That function works great on Android. It's just iOS devices that is stuck on, but should be fixed soon.
Cool.
Tom is trying to get me to give up my apples, huh?
I try every day.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to say that I've been trying to get WORT to get an app for about the last 25 years, and there's been a lot of resistance to it, saying, why do we need this? The web is just fine. And it's been hard. I have not done a very good job of being able to explain why it's a good thing, but it's one of those things that once you have it, it's evident why it's a good thing, and people who use it are more satisfied. And for instance, finding archives is so much easier. Danielle's brother, my brother-in-law, just got his first smartphone a month ago. And the first day he was ready to throw it far out the window because it was so frustrating for him. But he mentioned in passing that there was a show, Wednesday night that did a whole bunch of good music. And I said, well, one of the things your phone doesn't have is the WORT app. let me show you how to load an app on your phone. I mean, he didn't know anything about smartphones. So we went to the Google Play Store and loaded the WORT app. And then I showed him how to find the music lists for the shows. And yeah, that's the one. And that's, yeah, you can just, that's Casey Fox's show, Guilty Pleasures. And you can do this now, you know, for all of the shows. So finding the archives and accessing them and finding the music lists is just so much easier. And what happens is it gets to be one of those things where if it's too hard, people just won't get beyond that cliff and do it. And that point is reached sooner for younger people. They just don't have the patience to go spelunking around to find something. You know, there's just too many other things that need their attention. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is easily found and consumed. So, and that's what the app does. So I'm really pleased that we've got that. So thank you for everybody who did all the work on that. So has anybody else got comments about the needs assessment while we're talking about that? I know that the news department, Shally mentioned that she is still wanting to have a buzz producer, and that's not in this budget, and that won't be solved by this hire. And I also note that Glenn put in comments on the volunteer outreach to, well, not on this copy, but in earlier, Glenn has his concerns about, we have to be sure when we take on a new expense that we have the money to cover those expenses, that we don't burn through our assets and are not able to continue. And that's a good caution to have, but the comment still remains that as our existing donor base gets older and it's reduced as people pass away or move away, and it's not being replaced by radio listeners because fewer and fewer people own radios and listen to them. So that's why we have to be very creative in how we continue and how we continue our funding stream. I've got other ideas, but now is not the time to go into those. So what I'm trying to do right now is to make sure you all have had a chance to read the staff needs assessment and consider that with regards to making Aaron's essentially recognizing his existing full-time status with a formal recognition. So I think that the things that were put into the job description, which is also linked on that page, does a good job of addressing those issues that he's already been doing and adds some more.
Dave,
yes.
Are you starting to get into closed session territory here?
That's a good question. Do you think, are you concerned that I am?
Well, you're kind of talking about, you're getting pretty specific about an employment decision. Yeah, I think you might be getting close.
Okay. Well then, what we need to do to be able to go in closed session is we need to have a motion and a second and a vote to go into closed session to discuss that item. And then at that point, ward employees and non-board members will have to leave the meeting, except for Doug, and he will stay and not have a vote.
Yeah, I would move to go into closed session for the purpose of considering an employment offer. I make that motion.
I'll second it.
I think Rosie got there first. Just
okay.
And personally, I don't have an objection to Kurt participating in this discussion. I don't know what his thoughts are, even though he represents 2304. I don't think there's, I don't know, I'd invite his comments on it, but I personally don't have an objection to his participating, certainly in the discussion, whether or not he wants to vote. But, you know, Kurt, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think this raises any potential conflict issues offhand. If others think differently, let me know.
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with you participating. Although potentially you could be increasing the size of the bargaining unit,
Yeah, right.
which is, but no, I don't have an objection to Kurt participating.
Are there any other issues to discuss about going into closed session? Is this something that we have to take
Technically, it's a roll call vote.
a roll call? Okay.
Technically.
So, well, I'm just going to go on screen order. Gil
Aye.
and Marty
Aye. Yes.
and Stu
Yes.
and Adrian, you'll be going, and Tom, you'll be going, and Doug. Does Doug get a vote? Yes, because this is open session. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just waving goodbye to Adrian.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to stay or not.
After we complete the vote, we'll ask you to leave.
Okay.
And I will see you. When is it? Tomorrow? We're getting together.
Yeah, tomorrow to do the credit
Summit
credit card stuff.
Yep. So, Kurt
Yes.
and Marla
Yes.
and Megan Elliott Flowers
Yes.
and Rosie
Yes.
and Alita.
Yes.
And I think that is it. So we are unanimous among the people here. And so that means we're going to say goodbye to Adrian and to Rebecca and to Elton Krim. And who's Elton Krim? Are you a board member with a different name?
No, I got your email that said we were invited to tune in. Unfortunately, I just saw it late this evening, so I apologize.
Okay.
I'm one of the DJs, volunteers.
Thank you. I recognize your voice
he's
right
a jazz DJ. He flips with Chuck France.
Yep. Well, Elton, I apologize that for the closed session part you can't.
Oh yeah. No worries.
It's good to hear your voice and see you at the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Nice seeing everyone.
Good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
And now I'm going to pause the recording here. Thank you, Magic Lady.
Michelle Bear gets another paycheck. Oh wait, no, that's Star Trek.
So in closed session, we made a motion, which I will be putting into the minutes in a few minutes after this meeting, to return the position description back to the staff collective and to the personnel committee to be reworked. And then they will refer to the executive committee for consideration of that issue.
Yeah, it's to revise the PD to include a fuller job summary, required qualifications, desired qualifications, and a statement of what competencies will give a candidate preferences. And you can see the vol coordinator PD for fuller details. So I've
Fantastic.
I've just emailed that to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I have to do a little bit of editing here. All right. With regards to adjournment, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, everybody.
I will not be at next month's meeting because I will be in Kansas. So enjoy.
Thank you,
Bill,
Dorothy.
Thanks,
for
Doug.
Bill,
See you at the annual meeting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
bye-bye.